The Taylor Rule, a central bank's rule of thumb. The Taylor Rule is a simple, influential formula developed by economist John B. Taylor in 1993. It acts as a benchmark or rule of thumb that prescribes what a central bank's short-term nominal interest rate, like the federal funds rate in the US, should be based on the current state of the economy. Intuitive explanation. Imagine a central bank has two primary goals. 1. Price stability, keeping inflation close to a target, e.g. 2%. 2. Economic stability, keeping the economy at its full potential, where actual output equals potential output, meaning a zero output gap. The Taylor Rule is essentially a formal way of saying, raise the interest rate when the economy is overheating, high inflation or high output, and lower it when the economy is slowing down, low inflation or low output. It guides the central bank to be counter-cyclical, meaning it leans against the fluctuations of the business cycle. The formula and components. The standard form of the Taylor Rule is where I_T, the nominal policy interest rate, the rate the central bank should set, are to the power of the x that. The equilibrium real interest rate, the real rate consistent with full employment and stable inflation in the long run, often assumed to be 2%, p to the power of. The inflation target set by the central bank, e.g. 2% pi_t. The actual inflation rate, pi_t minus p to the power of asterisk. The inflation gap, how far actual inflation is from the target, y_t, y to the power of asterisk. The output gap, how far actual GDP output, y_t is from its potential natural level, y to the power of mate, where a positive gap means the economy is overheating. Alpha and beta, weights, coefficients, that reflect how strongly the central bank responds to the inflation gap and the output gap, respectively. Taylor originally set them both at 0.5. The two core actions. The formula determines the policy rate, I_t, by adding together three main parts. 1. The neutral rate, r to the power of plus p to the power of, closing parenthesis. This is the long-run nominal interest rate that would prevail if the economy were perfectly stable. Inflation is at target and the output gap is zero. It's the baseline rate from which all adjustments are made. 2. The inflation gap adjustment, alpha pi_t minus p to the power of asterisk. Closing parenthesis. Intuition. If actual inflation is above the target, pi_t greater than p to the power of, the central bank must raise the policy rate aggressively to cool down the economy and bring inflation back to target. The Taylor principle. The rule requires the weight alpha to be greater than 1. Taylor initially suggested alpha equals 1.5. This is the crucial part. A 1 percentage point increase in inflation must lead to a more than 1 percentage point increase in the nominal interest rate. This ensures that the real interest rate, nominal rate inflation, actually rises, making borrowing more expensive and successfully slowing down demand. 3. The output gap adjustment, beta y_t, y to the power of asterisk. Closing parenthesis. Intuition. If actual GDP is above its potential positive output gap, it signals that resources are strained, which creates inflationary pressure. The central bank must raise the rate to slow down economic growth. If actual GDP is below potential, negative output gap or a recession, the central bank must lower the rate to stimulate spending and boost output back to potential. The Taylor Rule serves as a simple framework for setting interest rates based on achieving both price and output stability.